Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone. It's good to see you. It's been a while, and we welcome you with open hearts. This time we tried something a little different, and we asked for questions. We did receive a good number of questions, and we can't address them all, obviously, in one session. So we're going to work on moving through the questions with each session as we move forward. I do want to remind you, I believe Chris did share, she doesn't recall, that we'll be meeting the first Sunday of every month through the summer. So starting now through the summer. So it will be once a month, and we'll stay in touch with you. If there are any other issues in the middle that you have questions about, let us know, and we'll just keep moving forward. So the first question that came in was extraordinary. It is, what is the root of fear? I think that's a powerful question, and it came a few days ago, so we've had a little time to be with that. And what I believe with all of my heart is fear is the opposite of self-love. What makes us afraid? We're afraid that we're always, or we're never feeling good enough. And that begets fear. So whether we feel that we're not good enough, safe enough, healthy enough, wealthy enough, whatever it is, smart enough, we develop it it sounds very simplistic, but it blows up and creates all types of fears within us. We've been raised in our lives in comparison, and we're always comparing ourselves to others. And in comparison, we judge ourselves, and that creates that lack of absolute unconditional self-acceptance, self-love. And it's like a little worm that kind of grows and grows and grows inside of us and creates all kinds of fears that we are going to fail, that we're not going to be, make people happy, all the fears that come. So it is the opposite of love, because imagine if we lived in a world where everyone truly loved themselves and loved each other. The way the world is now would not be. But the fear of people who are different, things who are that are different, goals that are unmet, the judgment we place upon ourselves creates a little emblem of fear that just keeps growing as we get a little older, and our goals sometimes get accomplished and sometimes move further away. But we do live in fear. We live in fear because we judge ourselves all the time. And when we start living in the moment, only in the moment that you have, and accepting that moment as perfection, you will find that fears will dwindle. But it is not something that'll happen overnight. We are always seeking outside approval. We're always looking outside of ourselves. And as long as we keep doing that, fears will always be manifesting, because we're always going to feel that we're not living up to expectations. Now, some fears seem irrational and we don't know where they come from. And that happens. It is only a representation of all other types of underlying fears that we experience. So the root of fear is the lack of self-love. And to love yourself absolutely in total acceptance in the perfection that you are will help you release a lot of the fears that you carry with you, whether it is the fear that something will happen to your child or to yourself. It makes no difference. It is that at the core of you, that as you understand absolute self-love and perfection, fears will start to dissipate. But it takes a lot of effort and energy and constant talking to yourself over and over again to release those moments of absolute fear. And we have them, we just have them. Chris?
This is a powerful question because it's so human, and we're human. We are spiritual experiences of all that we are, manifest into this glorious human experience we're having. And as part of that, the most core lesson that we learn quite early is that we're not perfect. Do we not think that a baby born in a maternity ward doesn't feel the energy around them when the doctors figure out, does the baby have 10 fingers and 10 toes? Is the baby normal? Is the baby perfect? Right from the very moment we enter the physical, we get a message that we're not perfect or potentially not perfect. We come knowing that we're God, and we come to teach others that we're God. But we hit this wall of separation in human form, in physical form, that we then have to navigate. And fear is something we then experience because it is of the separation from the truth that as we are perfect. In each and every moment of our experience, we are perfect. It might have a consequent experience, a choice that we made, a way that we feel. That isn't great. It doesn't feel great. We don't want to have it over and over, but it's a perfect moment of learning. So the root of fear is in, as Marilyn said, the separation from the celebration of oneself, self-love, as God, as good enough, as perfect as you are, as glorious as you are. But when we separate, it's just the same thing. Like if you imagine how you felt as a child, whether it was a teacher or a parent or somebody who said something about you, like, that made you feel bad about yourself. Like it could have been about your physical body. It could have been about you're not smart enough. It could have been about anything. And you felt bad. And it is that which we take into our heart that creates pain. And when we feel pain long enough, we get afraid that it's not going to go away. And so we create fear. It is created and owned by us. And that's why, as Marilyn was saying, we can make different choices in talking to ourselves, the conversation of love that we have just with ourselves. If that's all that you do is have this conversation of love with yourself every day. I love my eyes. I love how they see the world. I love the sound of my voice. I love how my ears hear the birds. I love myself. I love everything about me. If you just have that conversation with yourself, you will lessen the pain. Then you will lessen the fear of the pain. And you will quiet this all down. So we have choice. And that's the choice to love. And that's what self-love is. And as we do, we no longer have to experience, I would first say, so much fear. And the other thing I would say in this answer to this question of the root of fear is, what do you do when you feel afraid? Because we have created it. We have empowered it. So what do we do? And the one thing I would say is remind yourself in those moments that as God, there is nothing bigger than you. There is nothing more powerful. There is nothing you don't have the strength for. You don't have the strength to stand peacefully in that moment and be with it and make a choice and not be afraid of it. You remind yourself how powerful you are. And then there is nothing to be afraid of because you're strong enough. And then the next thing I would say, another tool to use, is when you feel fear, use the greatest, most powerful tool you have. Embrace it with love. Embrace what you are afraid of with love. Hug it. Give it that hug. Because it's the same thing that happens when anyone hugs you. You go, I can relax. I just got a hug. That's why our world is everybody is just wanting to get those hugs again, because it will heal us. It will heal us of what this time period has done in the disconnection with all that we are. But even things that you are afraid of, just stand there in that moment and acknowledge, I feel afraid right now, but I am going to embrace this fear with love. And just give it that hug, and you will feel it come down.
There is a fear that we have when we are unwell, when we have disease, perhaps we've been diagnosed with something. That is a fear that comes from really deep within, because it makes us feel helpless, makes us feel hopeless sometimes based on the illness itself. And the truth is that the fear that comes from having created that experience is your greatest opportunity for learning. So what fear brings to us is an opportunity to ask questions. What am I learning from this experience? Why is my body reacting this way? What have I done and how can I move past this? We have to always remember that in the global perfection of all that we are and all that is, even illness is an experience that is an opportunity. And it is very, very challenging to understand that, to accept that, because in the moment that fear raises its head and it's overwhelming, and it can be. And allow it to be. That's the magic of fear. Allow yourself to feel the fear, and then allow yourself to step away from it and ask the questions. Ask, what am I learning from this experience that is creating so much within my heart that it has removed my absolute knowing that I am perfect in this moment as I am, and that I love myself in this moment as I am. It is an amazing thing, but when you're ready, you will understand the creation of this moment, and then you will be able to have learned it from it in perfection and then let it go. And you will have to do it over and over and over again. Many of us create illnesses that last a long time and sometimes a lifetime. But it's the fear that holds it down and that makes it feel insurmountable. And as you choose to let go of the fear, your life, you will rediscover magnificence and beauty and joy again, allowing that part of your body to begin the healing that it needs. So the root of fear impacts us in so many ways, but we have the power to pull those roots out of the dirt that is holding us down and allowing us to really discover our power, our ability, our love for ourselves and for everyone around us. Are there any questions? It's a powerful, go ahead.
I was just going to say questions about the question.
Questions about the question. Well, we have a little time. We can actually begin talking about another question that kind of followed this one. We're trying to follow them in some kind of order. How can we overcome unconscious bias? I love that question as well, because bias is based in fear. So we're in the same subject. We're just looking at it from a different angle. Chris, would you like to start that one?
Okay, so the way the question came in was, how do we help society and systems overcome unconscious bias? And there's many aspects to this question, because it's asking about how do we help society and systems overcome. And I want to start there because I think it's very important. Whenever we're asking about anything or answering about someone or something, even society or the systems of society, we are asking about ourselves. So the first thing, because remember, there's nobody here but you as God, as all. So everything you have manifested is manifested in what you're using terms, society and systems. But the most powerful way to work with everything is to put your face on everyone, put your face on that society, put your face on that system. And that's not always easy. You know, the separation that we have chosen when we separate from the truth that we're perfect as God and we manifest pain, you know, what do we do with that pain? Well, we turn it either inside on our bodies or we turn it outside on the world. And so let's talk about the second part of this, which is the question about overcoming unconscious bias. There is no unconscious. It's very difficult for us to grasp this because the notion of conscious choice versus unconscious choice is just another way to separate. And so I would encourage everybody to eliminate the notion of unconscious choice and embrace that all choice is conscious. It is a choice. And it is creation. So how do we help? And the question was society and systems, but how do we help ourselves overcome unconscious bias? So really overcome bias is what I would say. You know, bias is rooted in believing that there is other. And we see one another's faces as different. We see one another's lives as different. Cultures as different. The path to, and I struggle, I guess, with the word overcome, but the path to embrace not so much embrace bias, but embrace wholeness is to, I would say, place your face on everyone. it's an exercise in something that I would say is not easy, because we use our eyes to separate, you know, and then we, as Marilyn said, you know, in the separation, we step into, you know, ways of no longer embracing that the person, you know, who did some horrific act is a manifestation of our heart in separation and in pain. You know, the only way I would say that we walk this path of love is to embrace all as self. And embrace when we have thoughts of separation, bias towards somebody, stop ourselves, recognize the thought, recognize the belief, and make a new choice. Make a new choice about that person, and take responsibility for the thought, the belief, the bias choice, the whatever it is, and just make a choice. Do you want to continue to have that belief? And the reason why it's your choice is because every choice has a consequent experience. So if your choice is to believe that a person you see with your eyes of a different skin color or ethnic background or whatever is somehow someone you can less trust or whatever, the consequent experience of that belief will be felt in your heart and in your life. It will be a limitation that will be felt in your life. So that's why embracing all that you are with love, seeing your face on everyone's face, and even embracing beliefs that you have when you recognize in the moment they are filled with choice of judgment about others, honoring them, embracing with love, and letting them go. You know, that's day by day by day. That's the way we reacquaint ourselves with the wholeness that we actually are. We are everyone and everything. And it is glorious and it is amazing and it is filled with love and it is filled with so much more than we ever let ourselves experience in choices of limitation. And that's what bias is. It's a powerful choice of limitation. Mare?
Well, you know, we have been raised, obviously, in this group of, we're multicultural here. And it's glorious because we're all seeking the same answers to the same questions. So it brings us together because the root of this gathering is, how can I live my best life? How can I love myself unconditionally? How can I be connected to my heart in all moments? And we're all seeking that all the time. And we were raised each of us in our own individual experiences with families that didn't understand this way of being in the world. It was always, at least in my experience, a comparison to everyone around us. And if you were really different, you would have nothing to do with them. It's like you have to stay with people like yourself, and you have to stay away from people who are different. And these biases are almost just put into our hearts as children, because who knows the world better than mommy and daddy? I mean, let's be honest. How do we speak to our children, and how do they hold on to every belief we've had, you know, as parents and as adults in this lifetime? We're always living in a world filled with bias. If your political beliefs are different, there's a bias. If your religious beliefs are different, there's a bias. It is And we go back to the first conversation, the root of fear. It creates extraordinary fear in our hearts when we are suddenly finding ourselves in an environment where people pray differently, where people eat differently, where people look different. And yet, if you go through time, through the eternity that is our spirit and all the physical experiences we've had, we have had all of these experiences through time. We have been on both sides of the coin. It is extraordinary how bias seems to be ruling the world based on that which we cannot even control except for within ourselves. So when you have a person tell you, you cannot do that, the first thing you should ask is, why not? Whether or not you want to or not. Why is there limitation in what we can or cannot do, can or cannot believe, how we choose to appear to the world? There's always a truth and a reason within the heart of that individual that we stand outside of and we look upon with some form of judgment, whether it is envy or disdain or everything in the middle. This is our world. Can we change it? One person at a time. That's what it will take. One person at a time. And all we can do is walk along the path of our lives with so much love for self that it emanates and it becomes contagious and it eliminates bias and it eliminates fear. But is it an easy path? No. But is it a path we've chosen? Each of us has chosen that path. We have forgotten. And imagine if every man, woman, and child upon this planet can find enough love to just be that without needing to share it, needing to talk about it, needing to express it, just being. That energy begins to change everything, every experience you have, and everything that is touching you in all ways. So the question, what is the root of fear, leads into the bias. The truth is that as we fall in love with the absolute perfection of who we are in every single moment, we will not experience the biases that are so innate within us because we're willing to let them go and be in this moment. And that's all we have is this moment, not what will happen in 10 years and what has happened 20 years ago. I would like to take us on a journey today to remember who we've been and see ourselves in different forms and in different shapes and in different ways. For we have bias, not only cultural or skin color or racial, but this person is too fat, this person is too thin, this person, the biases are constant. This person has so much more money, or why does that person drive that terrible looking car down the road? We're always in judgment, but we are all of these people and we have had these experiences, and maybe it's just time to remember. So I'm going to invite you now to make yourselves comfortable so we can go into a meditation. And please close your eyes and inhale deeply. And as you inhale, hold it for as long as you can. And when you're ready, please let it go. We're going to do this 3 times. Inhale deeply and hold it. And let it go gently And this time, inhale deeply and hold it and push out all limitation and all fear, for we are about to embark on a glorious journey. And imagine, if you will, that you are on a beautiful white sand beach. I bring you here, for it is a place of great healing. And it is a place where you connect to all that is. Feel your body lying upon the sand. Feel the weight of your body upon the sand, the earth beneath you. Listen to the waves as they crash against the shore, the water that is so important to us. Feel the comfortable breeze as it passes over your body, the air, the wind. Listen to the sound of the seagulls and feel the heat of the sun upon you. Find yourself in a comfortable place and feel your body relax. And feel yourself let go of thought. And feel yourself choose to explore. So get up from this place, but keep with you that connection to the earth and to the heavens and the awareness of the water. And notice that there is a very large rock formation on one end of the beach where you are lying, bringing that energy of earth again. And walk towards it. And notice, if you will, that as you push aside some brush, some bushes, some leaves, some twigs, there is an opening and there is a wooden door, almost as though someone lives in this home, built into the rock. Push open the door and enter. And notice that there is a fireplace with a fire burning, the flames of life, the fire that we are. And you hear the crackling of the fire and you feel the comfort of the room. And the fire puts forth just enough light that you notice on one side of the room is a giant mirror. For each of us, the mirror may look different. You may have it rimmed with gold or brass. You may have it in a wooden frame. You may have it ornate or simple, but it is the mirror of your soul, and it is perfect just as it presents itself to you. And I invite you to stand in front of this mirror and look upon your reflection. And what this mirror will bring you is a memory of who you have been in lifetimes past. So as you stand there, I suggest you start by loving what you see, the perfection of your being in this lifetime. How beautiful your hair is, how shiny and bright your eyes are, the perfection of your skin, the strength of your shoulders and your neck, your height, absolutely perfect, your body strong and powerful, And I will count to 3, and you will close your eyes. 1, 2, 3. And I call forth another experience of your soul in this lifetime when you open your eyes. You may be of the opposite gender. You may be a king or a pauper. You may be of a different color. Choose to accept yourself. On the count of 3, open your eyes and look upon this other being that is you. 1, 2, 3. What do you see? Who do you see? Are you young or old? What is your belief system in that lifetime? Were you in joy or in pain? Ask that being what you learned in that lifetime that you could know now. Ask the question and it will come to you. Take that into your heart and thank that memory for returning. And close your eyes again. And in a moment, we will look upon another lifetime, another experience, another place, another society, another world. There are no limits. On the count of 3, open your eyes and see yourself in a different moment. 1, 2, 3. And who is standing before you? Is it a male or a female? Short or tall? What color is their skin? How richly or poorly are they dressed? How do they feel? Is there joy? Allow yourself to remember and ask, what did you learn in that lifetime? Now it is time to close your eyes again. When I was guided into this exercise, at one moment, I had a flash of thousands of faces before me. I invite you to choose either one other lifetime or see the mirage of all faces coming forward, Asian and African, wealthy and poor, different cultures, different memories, different moments, wise and not so wise. Makes no difference. When you open your eyes, you will either see one other lifetime or just let yourself see the flashes of faces that you have been sitting behind in the physical experience of your soul. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. It is time now to come back to where you are in this moment. So imagine that as you stand before this mirror, you open your eyes and you thank all that you have been throughout all time with great acceptance, appreciation, and love. And become aware of the fire burning in the fireplace, keeping you comfortable and warm. And make your way out through the wooden door that is hidden in this rock. And I ask you to cover up the door, for this is your secret space. And only you will find this place again. And when you're ready, come back to the beach where you were lying before. And lie down. And allow yourself the reconnection to the earth beneath you and the comfort of the sand. And be aware of the waves of the ocean crashing against the shore. And feel the comfort of the warm breeze passing over you. And be aware of the sound of the seagulls and the heat and the light of the sun warming you and healing you. If ever you want to understand your own soul or ask a question of why you are having this experience, for it may have been connected to one of a long time ago, visit this place, walk into your special place, and be in front of the mirror of your soul and allow it to share with you all that you've been and all that you've learned. You will never see the same visage twice. You will always see the myriad of beings that you've experienced as your soul has journeyed into the physical experience of now. Love yourself in all ways, in all forms, in all moments, and especially right this moment. Love yourself as you come back to this moment in your home where you are safe. This is your haven. Welcome back. Chris and I are honored to be with each of you. Thank you for making the time. We will see you in a month of Sundays, the first Sunday of May. And if you have questions that you would like addressed, we are gathering a list and we will cover them as they come in. So please never hesitate to reach out. Thank you so much for joining us. We love you all.
Thank you.